Have you ever had mornings where your joints felt a little stiff, your knees just didn't want to cooperate, or your hands moved slower than your mind? Maybe you've noticed a lingering ache that wasn't there before, or an overall feeling that your body's just heavier, like it's working harder than it needs to. If that sounds familiar, please know you're not alone. These changes are something many of us experience with age, but here's the good news, they're not something we have to accept as permanent. You see, there's a quiet little storm happening inside our bodies called inflammation. It's not something you can see or even feel right away, but over time, it builds up, like a low hum in the background, and it starts to affect how we move, how we sleep, even how we feel emotionally. But here's the even better news, what you eat can make a real, powerful difference. You don't need a cupboard full of pills or a complete lifestyle overhaul. Just a few gentle changes, starting with the foods you put on your plate, can ease that storm inside and help you feel lighter, more energized, and yes, even a bit younger. So in today's video, we're going to talk about 5 simple, delicious foods that can help reduce inflammation naturally. These aren't exotic or expensive, just practical, everyday ingredients that are easy to find and gentle on your digestion. Best of all, they taste wonderful and can become a part of your life without any fuss. We'll take our time going through each one, sharing tips on how to include them in your meals and why they work. And if you enjoy content that helps you live a healthier, more peaceful, and more meaningful life after 60, don't forget to give this video a like, share it with someone you care about, and hit that subscribe button. I'm on a journey to reach 1,000 subscribers so I can continue bringing helpful content like this to more people in our wonderful community. Every little bit of support really means the world to me. Now, let's start with the first food, something so small, yet so mighty, you might already have it sitting in your kitchen. Berries. That's right, those sweet, juicy little fruits like blueberries, strawberries, and raspberries. They're not just delicious. They're packed with antioxidants, especially one called anthocyanin, which gives berries their beautiful rich color. But more than that, anthocyanins help calm inflammation in the body, particularly in the joints and the brain. Imagine giving your body a gentle, cooling bath on the inside, that's what a daily handful of berries can do. I know someone, her name is Elaine, 72 years old and full of spark, who started adding a small cup of blueberries to her breakfast every morning. She didn't change much else. Just the berries. Within a few weeks, she noticed she wasn't waking up with that nagging ache in her wrists anymore. And she told me she just felt a little more with it during the day. Brighter. Clearer. That's the kind of shift these little foods can bring. You don't need to eat them by the bowlful, just a small, regular amount is enough to start shifting your body back to balance. You can enjoy them fresh if they're in season, or frozen if not. Add them to oatmeal, blend them into a smoothie, or just have them as a snack. The key is to make them a regular guest at your table, not just a once-in-a-while treat. Now, speaking of the table, let's move on to something that might surprise you. Olive oil. That golden, silky liquid often used in Mediterranean cooking isn't just tasty, it's one of the most powerful anti-inflammatory ingredients you can use. But not just any olive oil, I'm talking about extra virgin olive oil. The kind with a bit of a peppery kick at the back of your throat, the kind that's rich in something called oleocanthal. This natural compound works in the body in a way similar to anti-inflammatory medications, except without the side effects. Drizzling a little over your salad, cooking your vegetables with it, or even just dipping a bit of bread in it, these are easy, enjoyable ways to start reaping the benefits. A friend of mine, George, who's 68 and loves gardening, used to struggle with his knees, bending down was a chore. His daughter gifted him a bottle of good quality olive oil from a local shop, and he began using it daily instead of butter or vegetable oil. Within a couple of months, he noticed his knees weren't protesting quite as much. It didn't make him feel like he was 30 again, but it gave him back enough comfort to keep enjoying the things he loves. One thing to remember is that heat can damage some of the good stuff in olive oil, so try using it mostly for low to medium heat cooking, or better yet, raw, as a dressing or finishing touch. Now, let's talk about something a little more earthy, a little more grounding, something that's been used for centuries in traditional medicine. Turmeric. This vibrant golden spice is more than just a flavor enhancer. It contains a compound called curcumin, and curcumin is one of the most well-studied natural anti-inflammatory agents out there. What's special about turmeric is that it not only helps with joint pain and stiffness, but it may also help protect the brain from age-related decline. But here's the thing, curcumin on its own doesn't absorb very well into our bloodstream. That's why it's often paired with black pepper, which contains piperine. Just a small pinch of pepper helps your body absorb much more of the good stuff. So, if you're adding turmeric to your meals, sprinkle in a bit of black pepper too. It makes a big difference. You can stir it into soups, blend it into smoothies, or even make a calming turmeric tea with a bit of honey and warm almond milk. I know one couple, in their late 60s, who wind down each evening with what they call their golden milk moment, a quiet little ritual of sipping warm turmeric tea together. It's become something they look forward to, and they say it's helped them both with sleep and joint stiffness. Alright, now that we've looked at these nourishing, inflammation-fighting heroes, berries, olive oil, and turmeric, let's keep this journey going. Let's keep this journey going with another beautiful food that often doesn't get the attention it deserves. I'm talking about leafy greens. You might be thinking, oh, sure, salads again. But stay with me, because the power in these humble greens is something truly worth appreciating, especially after 65. Spinach, kale, Swiss chard, collard greens, they're all full of vitamins, minerals, and natural compounds that act like gentle caretakers for your body. One of the biggest gifts they offer is their high content of antioxidants and something called polyphenol. These little plant compounds help to fight oxidative stress, which is just a fancy way of saying they protect your cells from the wear and tear of everyday life. And when they do that, they naturally calm inflammation as a result. A wonderful woman I know, named Rosa, she's 70 now and still teaches art classes at the community center, used to think salads were boring. Rabbit food, she used to call it. But she gave leafy greens another chance when her doctor recommended she eat more magnesium to help with muscle cramps and inflammation. She started sautéing spinach with garlic and olive oil, adding a handful of kale to her morning smoothie, and tossing in arugula with her lunch. It didn't take long before she noticed the tightness in her lower back wasn't as intense. More importantly, she said she just felt better. More clear-headed, more grounded. Her mood even lifted. The beauty of leafy greens is that they don't need to be eaten raw all the time. In fact, lightly steaming or sautéing them can make them easier to digest, especially if raw salads feel a bit too cold or hard on your stomach. And if you find the taste too bitter, a splash of lemon or a sprinkle of Parmesan can do wonders. The key is to find your own way of welcoming these greens into your meals, a way that feels enjoyable and sustainable. Now, while we're talking about nourishing the body, there's one more food that may surprise you, because it's rich, it's satisfying, and for many people, it's comfort food. But it also happens to be one of the best sources of healthy fat and anti-inflammatory nutrients around. I'm talking about fatty fish, especially salmon, sardines, and mackerel. These fish are high in omega-3 fatty acids, which are like little peacekeepers inside your body. They help calm overactive immune responses, soothe inflammation, and even support heart and brain health. It's like feeding your body a natural dose of serenity. I remember talking with a retired nurse named Ken, who had developed some stiffness in his hands after years of charting and writing. He started eating salmon twice a week, usually baked with lemon and herbs, and sometimes a little dill sauce. He told me it wasn't just his hands that felt looser, his mind also felt clearer. He felt like he could focus longer and didn't need his afternoon nap as often. The food he ate wasn't just filling his belly, it was helping him feel alive again. Now, if fresh salmon is hard to find or just a bit too pricey, canned sardines are a wonderful alternative. They're affordable, shelf-stable, and just as rich in omega-3s. Try them mashed on whole grain toast with a squeeze of lemon. It's simple, nourishing, and surprisingly tasty. The important thing is consistency. Getting those healthy fats into your diet a couple of times a week can truly shift how your joints and your mind feel over time. And here's a little tip: if fish isn't quite your thing, or if you're vegetarian, consider ground flaxseed or chia seeds. They also provide plant-based omega-3s. Stir a spoonful into your oatmeal, smoothie, or yogurt. It's a gentle, easy addition that makes a big difference. So as we explore these foods, berries, olive oil, turmeric, leafy greens, and now fatty fish, what we're really doing is giving our bodies the tools to heal, to relax, and to feel more comfortable in daily life. These aren't fads or extreme diets, they're gifts from nature, quiet helpers we can invite into our routine, no matter where we are in our health journey. And here's the thing I want to say gently, from my heart to yours: you don't need to change everything all at once. Start small. Maybe you choose one meal this week to add greens. Maybe you try berries tomorrow morning. Or you treat yourself to a fresh piece of salmon on Friday night. The changes don't have to be big, they just have to be consistent. Bit by bit, your body begins to notice. The pain softens. The energy returns. And life feels a little more open again. Now that we've walked through these beautiful additions to your plate, there's still one more food I want to share with you, something sweet, comforting, and often overlooked when it comes to reducing inflammation. And that food is dark chocolate. Yes, you heard me right, chocolate. But not the sugary kind you find in most candy bars. I'm talking about rich, deep, dark chocolate, at least 70% cocoa or higher. That kind. The kind that melts slowly on your tongue and fills your mouth with that smooth, slightly bitter warmth. It's not just delicious, it's also packed with antioxidants called flavonoids, which help calm inflammation and protect your heart, your brain, and your cells from stress. Now, I know this might sound too good to be true, but science backs it up. These flavonoids work much like the polyphenol in berries and greens. They support healthy blood flow, reduce stiffness in the arteries, and may even support memory and mood. Think of it as a sweet little gift to your body, and one that brings comfort, too. A dear gentleman I once met, named Arthur, shared with me that every night after dinner, he sits in his favorite armchair, sips a cup of warm tea, and enjoys one square of dark chocolate. "It's my moment," he said. "Just me, the quiet, and that bit of chocolate." At 76, Arthur walks daily, gardens when he can, and keeps a steady sparkle in his eyes. He doesn't overdo it, just one piece a night, but he swears that little ritual keeps his heart content. And who's to say it doesn't? Dark chocolate also has a calming effect on the nervous system. It encourages the release of serotonin, the feel-good hormone, which can be so valuable as we navigate later chapters in life. If you've ever felt a little low or restless in the evening, that gentle nudge of sweetness might be just what you need to feel grounded again. And the best part? It feels like a treat, not a task. Just be sure to go for the real thing. Skip the candy aisle and look for chocolate that lists cocoa as the first ingredient, with little to no added sugar. A small square is enough, truly, it's about quality, not quantity. And if you pair it with a cup of herbal tea, maybe chamomile or peppermint, it can become a beautiful part of your winding down routine. What all of these foods have in common, whether it's the brightness of berries, the richness of olive oil, the earthy depth of turmeric, the vibrant greens, the savory fish, or the warm comfort of dark chocolate, is that they work with your body, not against it. They're not loud. They're not extreme. But over time, they create a gentle shift, a bit more ease in your joints, a bit more clarity in your mind, a bit more energy in your step. And isn't that what we all want as we grow older? Not to turn back time, but to feel like we're still fully present in each day. To wake up with less pain and more possibility. To move through the afternoon with lightness instead of fatigue. To sit down in the evening with a heart that feels full, not burdened. These foods are tools, yes, but they're also acts of kindness. Acts of self-respect. Choosing them is a quiet way of saying to yourself, I still matter. My body still matters. My well-being is worth protecting. And I truly believe that when we start treating our health as something to be nurtured, instead of something to fight against, everything becomes a little easier. Now, of course, food is just one part of the picture. It's powerful, but it works best alongside other gentle habits, things like movement, rest, joy, purpose, and connection. But it's a beautiful place to start, because it's something we do every single day. And every bite can be a choice, not just for fullness, but for healing. If any of these foods spoke to you today, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Maybe you've already been adding turmeric to your soup or keeping berries in your freezer for smoothies. Or maybe today's the first time you're hearing about how salmon or dark chocolate can help with inflammation. Whatever your experience, I'd love for this space to become a place where we learn from one another, where we grow together. So if you enjoyed this video, if it brought you even a small sense of hope or encouragement, I would be so grateful if you gave it a like, shared it with a friend, and hit that subscribe button. I'm on a journey to reach 1,000 subscribers, and your support helps me continue creating gentle, thoughtful content that's designed with you in mind. And remember, this isn't about being perfect. It's not about following a strict diet or doing everything at once. It's about small, loving choices. It's about listening to your body and giving it what it needs, one meal, one day, one moment at a time. You've made it through a lot in this life. You've shown resilience, courage, and love in more ways than you probably realize. And now, this chapter can be about nurturing yourself, honoring your body, and finding new ways to feel at peace and energized each day. So here's to you. To feeling better every day. To moving with less pain and more joy. To savoring your food and your life. Because no matter your age, you deserve to feel good. And that's how we live our best lives, at any age.